We'll just move on to more team analysis then. So, let's see. Who do we have next? We've got Champion in the Making. What's my favorite team so far out of the two? So far out of the two is the New York Kecleons. I like this team even from the first week or the first part of the draft, where you had like the Minnesota Eon Twins, and whatchamacallit, what's the other team? What is the Minnesota Mammoths minus two Minnesota teams? They have really, really awesome teams. They've got some good threats. But so far, it would have to be the New York Kecleons so far, just because the New York Kecleons seem like they have a team that can bounce back. So we'll go back into some analysis into the Bavarian Beedrills, the first season champs of the RBL, and this team is constructed in a much different way than we're used to seeing Alex Louis play. And Alex Louis himself has admitted that this team is going to be a twist of the wrist, hand to the back. It's going to be an interesting season for this team, just because his very first Mega pick was the Mega Sableye, and if we all know Mega Sableye, that's an incredible mon. It can run as a physical attacker, it can be run as just a bouncy thing. Yeah, it for sure was an interesting draft to be a part of and to see which things are picked up. Yeah, what? The other hyper offensive guy, Alex Louis, that's what he is. And this team has... Oh yeah, sorry, that's my bad. Copy and paste is not my friend. Apparently, I messed up on this one. But anywho, I'll just bring it up. Let's see if I can find it. I might have just accidentally deleted something. Let's see if I can find it. Whatever. Can't find it. Alex Louis, where are you? Bavarian. Yeah. I goofed up big time, guys. I goofed up. Anywho, we're just going to go with it. We're going to see how this works out. I'm going to look for Alex Louis' team as I'm going to continue on my stalling actions over here. I'm pretty good at stalling. I'm pretty good. Not to brag or anything. Let's see. Stall. Stalling is pretty awesome. Stalling can be a pain, though. Stalling can be a pain. As you can notice, there's an odd theme in this little spiel. So excuse the typos. Apparently I'm bad at spelling. We all know that I'm pretty bad at spelling. There we go. I got one thing right. I got Electros right and Hitmonchan and Xatu. What's up with me? What? Alright guys, I think I wasn't fully awake over here, but anywho, we're gonna go into Alex Louis' draft team. Excuse the mistakes. Thank you guys for pointing that out. That's my bad. Anywho, Alex Louis drafted the Mega Sableye and the Ferrothorn back-to-back together. That is a bulky team. Sableye now can be run as an annoying thing. Sableye can be run as, because Ferrothorn and Sableye can be run as special defensive. Ferrothorn can't be run as an offensive. It only has access to Gyro Ball, Knockoff, Stealth Rock Spikes, Protect, and Leech Seed. So it can really heal up his mons. Sableye has access to Recover, Will-O-Wisp, Knockoff, a Dazzling Gleam, I do believe. No, not Dazzling Gleam. Knockoff. It has Recover, Will-O-Wisp. Taunt. I think it has access to Taunt too, maybe. But Mega Sableye is a great mon as itself. It has Magic Bounce, which Alex Louis doesn't really have to worry about rocks, Toxic Spikes, unless if you're ballsy enough to really set those up against a Mega Sableye. Then his first three picks are just bulk. They're just plain out bulk. There's no going around it. Bulk with a capital B, as for Bavarian Beedrills. Bulk is for B. Bavarian is for B. Beedrills is for B. And this team is bulky. This team is incredibly bulky just because Chansey, Ferrothorn, Sableye, first 3 picks, gonna have a tough time breaking around that wall. Yeah, sure, you want to go for a close combat? Well, guess what? Sableye, Ferrothorn can sort of bounce back that. You want to go for a Fire Blast? Well, Chansey can eat that right up. Knockoff? Well, Ferrothorn will appreciate those spikes, and that is going to be a tough core to break. And a lot of his success will come down to, can they break down the Sableye, Ferrothorn, and Chansey core? Yeah, his OU Goth spells Goth Stall. That is... yeah, that's stupid. That's just plain out scary. His very first UU pick, I can't say much about his first 1, 2, 3 just because they all do a similar thing and they're all really that bulky. But his first UU pick is the Crobat, and this is where we see a little glimpse of what the Bavarian Beedrills like to do. They get a fast, hard-hitting, or decently hard-hitting Mon, that being the Crobat with Stab Flying and Stab Poison. Yeah, we were convinced that he was going to get Goth. But the Crobat is an awesome pick. It has U-Turn, Cross Poison, Brave Bird. You can run it as a bulky set, but I don't think that's going to be happening as much just because his team is so bulky as it is. And I know there's only 3 picks, but hey. It also has access to Defog, I think, Roost, and it has some decent typing to any fighting attack. So it pairs up really well with Ferrothorn. So Crobat, Ferrothorn, close combat is not an issue just because Crobat and Sableye, they cover that up, and it's... so yeah, that's pretty good on his part, how he drafted that. He picks up a Zygarde in his second UU pick. And the Zygarde is a really, really great Mon. Sure, it's weak to Ice, but like I said, a lot of these weaknesses aren't really much of an issue just because he has his first 3 picks as a bulky core. So as long as Alex Louis predicts that and plays the way we know he can play, I don't see the Zygarde being much of dead weight in this just because it has access to Extreme Speed, Dragon Tail, Glare, Dragon Outrage, and some other things, and Earthquake too. That being Stab Earthquake, Stab Dragon Tail, Stab Outrage, Dragon Dance. It can outspeed, it can have a lot of speed, so it can do a lot of things. I like this pick. I like where it is for this team just because of his top 3 Mons. Then we're going to move on to his third pick, which is to Gastrodon, and Alex Louis did not need any more bulk, but Gastrodon is an awesome water Pokemon to have just to have stab or immunity to water, a 4 times weakness to grass, but this thing can stall you out for days with Recover, Toxic, Scald, Earth Power. Set up and aware, yeah, but I guess he wanted the Gastrodon just because it does something different. They're pretty much the same Mons in terms of just abilities and things, but I guess he wanted Gastrodon over Quagsire. Who knows? Who knows? We got to figure out why Alex Louis wanted to do that. Yeah, just in terms of, I'm sure there's a reason. There must be like a specific move or something, but we haven't talked enough about Alex Louis, like his prominent 2 Stealth Rocks. He can set up Stealth Rocks with Gastrodon, Zygarde, Chansey, and Ferrothorn, and he can set up spikes. He can set up spikes with Ferrothorn, so he can stack those up. He can really, really put a lot of pressure on opponents, and he can really, really make you pull your hair out with just those 4 Mons. And then this is actually this belongs on the board. Gaz doesn't get rock, sadly. That's a bummer. That's a bummer. That's a real big bummer. Yeah, my mind is blown too. I was convinced that Gastrodon got rocks. Anywho, we'll go into the 2 magic bounces. Seems weird. Yes, it does. It really, really does. Electros in the first RU1 pick. Cradilly, that's not a part of his draft. It's actually Magmortar. Anywho, Electros is his first RU pick, and this is a good Mon. This is a really, really good Mon, but once again, the speed is not there. But Electros does a lot of things. It's one of the best RU1 or one of the best RU Pokemon that you can get in this draft, just because it is bulky. It's one of the best assault, best user, no weaknesses to anything pretty much. Unless if you have Mold Breaker Earthquake, then that's a thing. That's a scary thing. But Giga Drain, Drain Punch, Gunk Shot, Volt Switch, Thunderbolt, Wild Charge, the list can go on. It can do so much. Electros complements this team quite good, but I felt like that he could have grabbed something different over here. Electros is a good mon, don't get me wrong, but maybe he could have picked up some speed or gotten something that he's more accustomed to. The good thing about this is that it adds another Volt Switcher. Alex Louis likes to play hyper offensive. I don't know if Electros brings that to this team. In terms of offense for Electros, I see it being an offensive threat, but I see it more as a defense than attack. And I'm sure he wanted Volt Switch too, like you guys said in the chat. But I think he could have grabbed something different. I like the Electros on this team. I don't think it fits Alex Louis' style that well. And we're going to move on to the second RU pick, which is the Magmortar. Excuse me, I dropped the ball here. It is not Great Daily, it's Magmortar. And I don't mind this pick. This is something that he needed. He needed a wall breaker, and Magmortar can do that. He's one of the top threats in the RU tier just because of his incredible attack power. Magmortar is somewhat fast too. It's not a slow mon, as slow as I thought it was. And yeah, so it's a hard hitting thing with Fire Blast. What else does it get? I don't remember. Let's see. Let me just check it up. Magmortar, what do you do? What do you do? Alright, here we go. It's got Thunderbolt, Fire Blast, Focus Blast, Hidden Power, Flame Charge, and Earthquake. That's just from Smogon itself. It also has access to Earthquake. Oh, and the most important thing that Magmortar is that it is a mixed attacker. So it can really break down those walls. It can do a lot of things that Alex Louis wanted. And this is something I'm more accustomed to that Alex Louis would potentially have, just because he likes to play a bit offensive, and Magmortar is one of those mons. It has an base speed of 83, special attack of 125, so it's going to be breaking down walls, that's for certain. If you're not prepared for this mon, fire is a big threat on lots of teams, and Magmortar can do just that. So there's that pick. It's a good pick. It's not a bad pick, but it's a pick nevertheless. And then we're gonna move on to the Hitmonchan, and the Hitmonchan is a really good pick. I like the Hitmonchan what it is. I retract my statement. I don't understand this pick, just because he has two magic bouncers, that being Xatu and Sableye. Hitmonchan is power, but I don't see it filling the role as a rapid spinner. He doesn't need that anymore. He's got Xatu, Mega Sableye. People who bring Stealth Rocks are pretty ballsy for bringing that against this team. But Hitmonchan can have access to Bullet Punch, Match Punch, Fire Punches, all the punches, Iron Fist. Like I was saying, Hitmonchan does have a decent amount of coverage. It just falls short on the HP stat just because I think it's base 50. Yeah. Mold Breaker Rare Rockers. Yeah. So Hitmonchan does not get Mold Breaker though. Anywho, oh yeah. I get what I sort of forgot. It has access to Ice Punch, Iron Fist. You put a Life Orb on it. It can do a decent amount. Oh right. That is true. I forgot about Mold Breaker, but still, so it's a fool's game to play that Stealth Rock action, especially with Dritigan and the Drill against this team. But Hitmonchan's it's a good mon. I don't mind it on this team as much now just because it's priority.